Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to hack these tiny arcades. I picked up these from Cracker Barrel the other day. They were just released, and I have to say they're pretty neat little items. They actually faithfully reproduce the original video games pretty well. So the artwork looks really good on them. They are the smallest I've seen. They are a little eye strain to watch. A little clicky on the controls, but what do you expect? $20, you just can't beat it still. Anyway, this video is about how to get all 4 games that are offered into one cabinet. And the reason we can do that is because they made only one circuit board for all 4 versions: Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Galaxian, and Space Invaders. So lucky you, I'm here to show you how to get all 4 games, and with a little bit of minimum soldering and taking it apart, you'll do just that. Now all you're going to need a soldering iron, kind of like this one here, with a small tip on it. You're going to also need a small screwdriver, just like this one. And it'd be helpful to have a guitar pick or a spudger, like you take cell phones apart with or whatever, to pry it open. So once you take it out of the package, put this switch aside. I'll have more on that in a minute. You'll need to take 2 screws out, one here and one here. Okay, so once you take those screws out, it's going to feel like it's not going to come out. And the reason is that there are 2 places on the side. I've already taken the screws out of this one. There's a divot on each side here. So as you pull up on this, and do the other side too, right, and you can see the little divot there. And it comes right out, just like that. Now you can take the batteries out. I suggest you go ahead and do that. I've done so many of these things that I leave them in. You put the spudger away, you won't need it anymore. Also, you're going to need a switch, and this switch right here is a dip switch. Now, I was able to salvage this off an old board I had laying around off an alarm system. I just took it off a while ago, but you probably just want to get a new one off eBay. It's just a 4-position dip switch. Okay, and all it is, basically, I'll show you here. There we go. It's just basically 4, this one's a 5 switch, but that's all I had. Basically, it's an on and off switch, just like a light switch. And each switch corresponds with each leg on each side. So that's 1 switch, 2 switch, 3 switch, 4 switch, 5 switch. Just think of it as 5 light switches, on and off, on and off. That's all it is. It just breaks the circuit. So we got a compact little switch set here. Real easy. Put that to the side. Let's go back here. Now, after you open this, you will see, move the wires out of the way, there's actually a very small, get a good light on it here for you, very small jumper right there. Now I've already taken one leg off of it, but it would normally be soldered on both sides. And that jumper is a 0 resistance resistor, so it's basically just a piece of wire that shorts the 2. You've got 4 games on here: A, B, C, and D. This one's shipped with D, which is Space Invaders. C is Galaxian, B is Pac-Man, and A is Miss Pac-Man. Right here. So A is Miss Pac-Man, B is Pac-Man, C is Galaxian, and D is Space Invaders. So I'm going to take that switch off real quick, this little jumper off actually, just for a second. And you got to be really careful when you take these off. You might even want to use a pair of tweezers, but I've done it so many times that if I just melt it just a little bit on each side of that jumper, it's going to just come off. And it did. It came right off onto my soldering iron. So I just wipe it over there and it's off. It's gone. At this point, I'm not going to actually wire the switch on here, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Basically, you're going to need some thin wire to do this with. It's thin enough here. If you got thinner, it's even better. For this project, you're going to need 5 pieces. This is just 4, but I have to find some more. But basically, what you want to do is, after I trim it, I'm going to cut this wire up, make some new. Alright, so I have 4 pieces here. Like I said, I would need another piece to complete this. So at this point, you're going to need 1 ground wire, and on the switch it'll say on and off usually on these switches. And if I can get it focused again, there we go, right here. So basically we want to wire one side of the switch for the ground system. So what I would do is actually solder this switch on one side all together. All of it would be together. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'll show it to you when I'm done here. Basically, not sure if I can see it, but let's see. Two. Takes a second here to put all of them in there. Okay, apologize, it took for a second there. Alright, so basically what's cooling down, I'll hold it with a pair of pliers, but you can see I soldered all the legs together on the side. So what we'll do is we'll put 1 ground wire there, and then all we need to do after that point is wire up each one of these legs to this pads on the jumper pads. So while that's cooling down, when you mount the switch, you probably want to find a place on there, probably right around this. This is a bigger switch. I'm not actually going to use this switch just for demonstration, but if you had the 4-position switch, it would fit right here. And you cut a nice neat hole right there, and on the back of it you could hot glue it in when you're done, flush with the case. Some people like to put it up here where the key ring is and take that key ring out, and it will fit, you know, right in flush behind there too. So you would put it in from the back and glue it in right there if you want. So the sides are there, it's fine. Just don't want to put too much glue. Be mindful how much glue you put in there so that it will go back together. So the switch is cooled down, and I have a black wire here. And basically what you're going to do at that point, strip a little piece off the black wire, and we will solder that on real quick. See if I can do this with camera in my way here. This is all for demonstration purposes. But yeah, we would want to put a little bit of solder on the wire first, and then we put some on the switch. There we go. That quick. Alright, so we have 1 ground wire on there, and for every wire on here, every leg on here, like for 4 legs, you're going to use 1 through 4 on this one. You go ahead and put a wire on each one of these, solder a wire to the 4 legs when you get your switch in. You get them on eBay, and once you get those 4 done there, then we're ready to wire it in. And where we're going to wire the ground wire to is basically the speaker ground, which is right there. So the speaker ground is right there. We will solder the speaker ground there, and we'll have a nice ground for our switch. And the grounding for this unit is on the right hand side of these pads. So there's 2 pads for each game switch, but all these are grounds. They're just ground wires that latch on to the game itself. So all these can be treated as a ground, just like the speaker wire has a ground. They all go to the same place, they're common. So you can, after you do your speaker wire ground up here to the switch, then what we're going to do is take each leg that we have here on the other side of the switch with your wires hanging off, and you're going to run 1 wire from each one of these switches to A, B, C, and D, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So it would be A, B, C, and D. As you can kind of see, I'm kind of laying the chip and superimposing it. It's going to be 1 wire for each letter off one of those legs of the dip switch, and the 1 wire for ground will go where the speaker ground is up here at the top. And that's really it, ladies and gentlemen. With the switches all off, you'll get a diagnostic on the front, so you can check your joysticks to make sure they're working and all kinds of neat stuff. And when you want to select a game, then whatever corresponds, like this one could be A for Miss Pac-Man. So you would just turn the switch on for Miss Pac-Man, turn it back off, go to number 2, that would be Pac-Man. 3, Galaxian, you turn it back off, and then go to Space Invaders. Now you need to turn the unit off and then change your switch, otherwise it'll just stay on the same game you load it up. That's just how the software works. So hope this helps somebody really quick. I don't have the correct switch with me right now because I ordered them from eBay, so they won't be here for a while. You can also use like a double pole, double throw switch. Like I had a push button when I installed on one, and basically this switch is on and on, so it's got 2 switches in it. If you press it in, one switch goes off and the other one comes on. You take it off, the other one reverses and comes on, and the other one goes off. So basically you could run 1 to each one of these 2 and make a 2 switch. You wouldn't be all 4 games, it'd just be 2 games that you could switch in between. So but I think the dip switch is a better idea. The one I got coming in has got little bigger levers on it, so you can use your thumb and actually finger to switch them instead of having a toothpick or something how to switch them, which could be a real pain. But I hope this helps you out, and thanks a lot.